gonna try to do a video that's not overly produced here. Testing. So this is just kind of a little bit of a look into one person. That's me. My routine at night. I try to get stuff ready for the next day. So what I do is I have this Tupperware container that I got at an estate sale for like $1. Kind of reminds me of growing up because my dad had one of these. It was a little bit different. The one he had just had like a lid that came off. This one opens. But before I go to bed, I take all the crap out of my pockets and decide what I'm going to carry the next day. And spoiler alert, it's almost always the same stuff. So this is like a Tupperware container, like I said before. But I usually just kind of dump things into this at the end of the day. You know, in a perfect world, I would go through my knife collection and be like, all right, this is what I'm going to carry. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's not how it works. Usually at night, I'm really tired. I just kind of want to go to bed. So I will throw a bunch of crap in here and make sure that it's how I want it for the next day. So the next day when I wake up, I just pull this out right before I go out the door. And yeah, so anyway, I had someone say something about me having serial numbers in videos. I don't care. Like, you guys want to try to steal my serial number? I don't know, man. Like, trust me, I don't care. So anyway, that being said, this has two stories to it. This little tray comes out, but you could tell by this pistol that this is dirty. It has like a lot of grime and stuff. I probably need to clean it. It's constantly in my pocket. It's always in my pocket, and therefore it is disgusting. But when I go to the range, whatever gun I take to the range, I usually will pull this out of my pocket and shoot it a few times, as is with the ammo that's in there, which is why there's different ammo in mags, and I have different backup mags to this all over the place. But it's always in my pocket. I have holsters in different pairs of pants and shorts and stuff for this, where I just leave them in there, so I don't put the holster in here. It'll fit in here, but I have a bunch of these. This is a DeSantos that my dad gave me, but I've got the Uncle Mike's and all those. But anyway, this is what I do. So when I get up in the morning, this thing's waiting on me. Kind of reminds me of in World War II when all the Nazi officers carried their little PPKs and PPs, and they had them in like their little boxes. And I don't know, I always thought this was like a cool container ever since I got it. So it reminds me of that. So 380, say what you want, it's always on me. And that's the thing about a 380. Like, you want to carry a P365, go for it. I usually have a Glock 43 or a Smith & Wesson M&P 360 or something on me, or a Glock 19, but this is always in my pocket. So anyway, that's in this little tray. And then I'll start putting this stuff. This is the flashlight I carry the most. This is called a Surefire Stiletto or something like that. But a good friend of mine sent me this, and I was always like an Olight guy, but I started kind of coming around to this. Olights are cool. They got different speeds and all that stuff, and so does this. But what I like about this is the back button. Like, if you mean business and you need to use it as a weapon, it instantly goes full crazy when you push that button. You can do all the fun stuff here, but if you need to use it as a weapon, you got that button right there. Bang! And somebody gets that in the eye, they're not doing much else. So this goes here. This is the slip I carry the most. I make slips, but this is just kind of the one that I usually carry. I only have 2 or 3 knives, traditional knives that I carry. This is the one I carry the most. It's my favorite. A lot of times I'll carry this case. I'll tell you about these. But so this is a GEC Model 29. I think it's a 29 or a 27. It's called the Whittler, something Whittler, but I like it because it has a punch. That's my favorite thing. But it has a clip point blade, which is my favorite blade. It also has the long nail nick, which I don't even use on here because you can just kind of pinch it, which is also something I love about this knife. GECs are great, but a lot of them don't have half stops, and I like half stops on traditional blades, so this one has a half stop on every single blade, and it's carbon steel. So it has a clip point, it has a utility sheep's foot blade, which is I absolutely love. So it has my two kinds of traditional knives favorite blades on here. And then it doesn't give you some stupid spay blade. It has a punch, which is actually really useful, and this one is pretty sharp, but I use it all the time. So yeah, love this thing. It's in sambar stag, whatever, however you want to say it. It's a phenomenal knife. It has everything I love. When I bought this knife, I didn't buy it like, oh, I'm gonna try to email this company faster than everybody else. I got on eBay and paid a lot of money for it, and I got everything I wanted. I wanted the pattern, I wanted the stag, I wanted the little crimps at the end of the bolsters, I wanted the lines, the long nail nick, the punch, the clip, you know, everything. So that is my favorite knife. If I could only have one in the world, it would be this one. So that's usually in here. I carry it all the time. This is sort of like a case, almost like a case version, but this is also sort of an exclusive. This is a Shepherd's Hill exclusive that you can't just get anywhere. I don't even think they make it anymore, but yeah, same thing without the half stops, but it has the utility knife blade. It has this guy, which is like the perfect apple skinning knife or whatever you want to call it. I love this knife. And then it has a punch, and of course all these are kind of like a not as good version of the GEC, but it still works really well, and I love it. And I love the feel of these synthetic handles. So those are the two traditionals that I carry the most. Sometimes I carry them at the same time. Usually I just carry this one or this one, but they both fit in this little GEC slip, and it's not a big deal. So I usually just grab this guy, throw it in my pocket. I got this on my left foot, or my left hand front pocket. This goes in the same pocket. This goes in my right pocket. I always have this thing on me. I freaking love this. My father-in-law gave me this watch a long time ago. The bands are terrible, and they break and they rip, but the watch itself is awesome. It's locked right now, but if you look at it, you can see that in the corner there, it has a little arrow that's going down. And I use it mostly for barometric pressure, but it also has a compass built into it. And, you know, it's got the time, it's got a compass, it's got barometric pressure, it has temperature, it's got a stopwatch, it's got all that stuff. So this is just a really useful tool that I love. And it's like my precious. I always have it on me. I just like it. It's a lot of different tools that don't have anything to do with your phone. You can tell if there's a storm coming in, which right now the pressure's dropping, but not crazy. Yeah, I just like it. So that's about all I have to say about the Sunto Core. They have newer versions out, but man, I love this thing. Super easy to replace the battery. Battery lasts about a year. But yeah, let's see, I'll unlock it here. And you can kind of cycle through date, time. There's your compass, which you have to calibrate the compass before you use it, but yeah, so 347. I don't know, I just really like it. So right now our barometric pressure is dropping, so we might be getting a storm, but kind of cool, right? I always have an analog watch on me. I'm not going to talk specifics about watches, but usually on a NATO band. But I always have one of these on me that's an automatic if I can help it, because we get an EMP or something crazy happens and you lose all this stuff. It's nice to have some way to tell time. And plus, I like to just kind of look down and see. I don't even see time as like, all right, it's 3:47. That's not how I see things. My brain looks at watches like a pie chart. I just look at it and think like, okay, there's this much left in the hour. You know what I mean? And that's how my brain works. I almost always have the Paramilitary 2 on me, or an Endura, something like that. This is the knife I carry the most. Sometimes if it's like if I'm just wanting to show off, I'll carry a different knife, but 99 days out of 100, I will carry this paramilitary too. And it has my name. It's always dirty and gross. I have to sharpen it every day, but back when I was in the Air Force, my troops out at Nellis, they got like an engraving machine and they put my name on it. I think it looks super ugly, but it reminds me of how much they love me. So carry this every single day. It usually goes in my right back pocket so that it doesn't look like I'm carrying a knife. A lot of times security guards or people will look at your right front pocket to see if you got a clip hanging out, to see if you're carrying a knife. I don't look at knives really as weapons very often. I look at them kind of as tools, and I don't want to get profiled. So anyway, I have this in my back pocket. So I always have, no matter what, either a Swiss Army knife or a little Leatherman. This is my favorite Leatherman. It's a Juice S2. A big Nut and Fancy fan, but that's why I bought one. I have a couple of these actually. These are pretty useful. They don't make them anymore. Good luck finding one. But they're cool because you can, like, I don't know. It has all the tools I use on a Leatherman, but most of the time I just use the most often I use pliers, and then I'll use this number 2 Phillips on here to, like, I don't know why. It's just those are the two that get used the most. Every now and then I'll pop a bottle cap or something, but it has scissors, cap lifter. It has an external blade, which is, kind of cool. It doesn't lock or anything, but that's another thing cool. Like whenever I go to England for work or something, I can carry this, and it's not a big deal because it doesn't lock. It's not a long blade, but it has so much useful stuff. It has these little screwdriver blades that come in handy all the time. This one's pretty beat up, but I use these a lot. If I could only have one multi-tool, it would be this. I know it's not a Wave. I love the Wave. I have the Wave and Surge and all those in my truck and at work and all that stuff, but this is the one that it's tiny, but it's not too small, and it goes in my pocket, and I love it. So yeah. Almost always have a pipe on me. I don't even smoke pipe that much, but that came out wrong. I don't even smoke a pipe that much, but I usually have one. I like to just kind of have it in my mouth, and I love the smell and taste of tobacco. Sometimes I'll light it, sometimes I won't, but this is the one I'd probably smoke the most. This is an old Dr. Grabo. I got it at the BX like 100 years ago for like $30, and it's super lightweight. It smokes great. I love it. I don't know. It just makes me happy. And last but not least, I usually have a couple handkerchiefs. And so I'll get these ready the night before. My wife always keeps like stacks of these clean. And I always carry 2 because, you need to be able to give, like, my dad taught me this, but you keep a clean one so that if like a lady or something sneezes in church or something, you can hand it to her, and then you're never going to get it back. That's fine. But I got a 3-year-old, and she's always spilling stuff, and you wouldn't believe how many times I have to pull one of these out of my pocket, wipe up like milk, or she'll go potty and she'll like reach her hand out to me, and we're not anywhere near toilet paper, and I'll just give her one of these, and then she'll throw it on the ground when she's done wiping herself or whatever. But anyway, yeah, it's real life. That messes happen that have to be cleaned up. And it's also kind of nice to like sit on a bench if you're gonna clean an apple or something, and then when you're done you can wipe off the blade. And I don't know, handkerchiefs, get you some nice cotton handkerchiefs. Yeah, so at the end of the night, what I'll do is I'll get my clean handkerchiefs. I'll get 2 of them. Sometimes if I'm going somewhere like church or something, I'll have 3 of them on me. A lot of times, if you're going somewhere where you're not allowed to carry a gun, what I'll do is, if this is in a pocket holster, you can kind of see the outline of a gun. So what I'll do is I'll take one of these and just kind of put it over that in my pocket, so that if you look down in the pocket, you don't see that, and it doesn't profile or print like a firearm. But end of the night, I might pack a pipe or something. This one doesn't have much tobacco in it, but top her off, put it there, throw my PM2 in there, got my juice. Usually I'll put this over here, flashlight, get watches. There we go. This guy here looks all pretty. Sometimes if I have this out, I'll set it on there like that and close it. But most of the time, I just kind of like the look, like I said before, of this. This just kind of gives me a smile when I wake up in the morning and I open that. And this container, I don't even know what it's called. It's made by Tupperware back in the 80s or something, but I'll just put it on top of my bookshelf and I'll go to bed. And this has nothing to do with my bedside routine or anything like that. This is just if I'm going out the door in the morning, pop this bad boy. Gives me a smile on my face to see this. And I got it all ready the night before. I'll clean off or sharpen. I have like sharp makers, Spyderco sharp makers all over the place. So I'll just run my knives on that a couple times and throw all this gear in my pocket and I'm out the door. No big deal. And okay, so now is your turn in the comments to say, hey Doug, you're stupid because you carry a mouse gun, or oh, you don't need 2 knives, or oh, you don't need 2 handkerchiefs, or why do you carry this, or why would you know, I like this or I like that. Let me know what your thoughts are, okay? Yeah, I meant to say, but the reason why I carry a slip is because sometimes these small traditional knives, they get turned around in your pocket, and the last thing in the world you want is like you're on your pocket, like if you got this, right? Let's see if I can do this. You don't want to like, you're not gonna be able to see it, but anyway, it looks like this, right? That's not what you want. Okay, we went off script a little bit. Anyway, we will see you guys again next time, and thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't like to do editing on videos. I don't like that. I have in the past made like a cool thumbnail and all that stuff, and music and all that, but I don't know, man. Nobody's got time for that.